And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. Maui Jim Sunglasses, the choice of the best captains. Shimano Rods and Reels, fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back, hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here with Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and we have Dale Hightower from Seaguar and Nomad here talking some great stuff. We have a lot to talk about this hour, I'll tell you what.
You're not kidding, man. So much cool stuff going on with Dale in here, from all the great new stuff from Seaguar and all the old great stuff from Seaguar. We're talking Gold Label today and everything made by Seaguar, and the hottest new lure to hit the game. That's the DTX Minnow, and everything by Nomad, the Buffalo Jigs, the Mad Scads, the Riptide. They make so much cool stuff for our fishery out here. We're having a great time talking fishing, and we want to talk to you. If you want to be a part of this second hour, there's 2 ways to do that. First is with our local line, which is 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. That's the local number. Or reach us toll-free. That toll-free line is 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. And if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, man, has Dale brought some lucky caller a killer prize pack at the end of the show today. First off is a whole bag full of all of that great brand new Gold Label Seaguar fluorocarbon, the newest, latest, and greatest best line from Seaguar. That's Gold Label. A whole bag's coming your direction. And one of those brand new Nomad DTX minnows. It's the 200 size, probably the most popular one we sell. And a 320-gram Buffalo flutter jig. So a great jig in the hottest color. It's like, this is a killer prize pack for some lucky caller.
Package,
no
right
doubt,
here.
buddy.
Yeah. All the lines are full, but just keep on trying. You should be able to get through. And let's go ahead and jump into the phone.
Sounds good. We're going to talk to Charlie, calling us from Gardena this morning. Charlie, good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hi, Charlie. Thanks for hanging in there.
We got Charlie
What's
there?
up, Charlie?
Hey, I had a couple questions for Dale. One has to do with the connection on hollow, what your preferred is, and if you're going to use the Sato crimp system on that, what's the biggest diameter fluoro you can get in that 80? And then if you could maybe talk about the difference between the Gypsy, the Streaker, and the Buffalo, since they're all type of a flutter. Maybe you could speak on that, how they work a little bit different. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie. I would definitely say on the, like, if you go an 80-pound braid, and I'm only speaking for the threadlock, the Seaguar threadlock, because that's what I fish. So it's a very tight braid, but it relaxes really nice when you use the needles. I know you can get up to 130 in it for sure.
Yep.
You know, so which I think if you're fishing 80-pound braid, you probably aren't going to be fishing much more than 130 like Premier. So I don't think there would be a single problem putting and the connection I use is the Sato crimp. So I do loops out of the threadlock to make my wind-ons using the Sato crimp. So
you and I are exactly the same, man. I love it.
Yep, and the biggest deal is when you're using the Sato crimp, as if the crimp goes on too easy over the braid and fluoro, then you need to find the right size, because that thread lock is really small diameter. So if you go by what Gary has on his recommendations, I still have to go one size smaller than what he recommends.
Sometimes two. If you're using thread lock and Premier, sometimes you need to go 2 sizes down on the crimp size to get it on there. And
I started double crimping only because it was a recommendation, but I've caught my biggest fish on a single crimp. So and I use the tack glue. So I usually put about. For me, I put about an inch and a half between crimps, and then I Sato glue the heck out of in between, and call it good. I know some guys serve in between there. I'm like, oh, that's just an extra job.
And not necessary.
And so the difference between the Streakers really aren't popular out here on the West Coast. The difference between the Gypsies and the Buffaloes.
So explain all that.
So they've got a bunch of different jigs. I'm not going to put the Streakers in there because I don't think it's as applicable to our market. But the two that are most popular for West Coast style bluefin tuna fishing is the Buffalo, which is a complete flutter jig. So that's the one that's going to flutter going down. And then the Gypsy kind of caught us off guard because we knew we were going to sell a lot of Buffaloes. especially we make them up to 320 grams. And so everybody's like, oh my gosh, that'll just based on that alone, right? So the Gypsy we make to 300, and it was actually on the Tomahawk. There was a trip out of there. Justin Poe was on it, and he took some, it was one of his sponsored trips, and he had gotten some Gypsies. Damon he'd given the guys at Nomad a reel, and then Damon sent him a bunch of jigs to fish. And he said the Gypsies, he was like almost like fishing them like a rock cod jig. He'd drop them down to the depth that they were metering these fish, and they would just jig them like a rock cod jig.
Just flutter them up, flutter them down.
And he said they got hammered. Like the Gypsy outfished the Buffalo like 5-1 on the trip.
Huh. Wow.
He said that those jigs outfished every other jig that anybody had on the boat, but he goes, the Gypsy on that bite was like they'd eat it like you just jig it and it would just go off. So I think 2 different cell jigs. Like I'm actually super excited. I've got a bunch I'm going to take on this long trip.
Cool.
And I was weighing these things versus, like a PL68, and these things weigh more than a PL68 does. So I bluefin eat the heck out of these. These yellowfin got to do the same deal. I'm absolutely convinced that, we've been fishing PL68s, right? And the cow killers.
Yeah.
That's been the jig of choice for the long trips. And I got to believe I'm going to catch fish on both the Gypsy and the Buffalo. So I think that I'm going to rig them both just to see what the difference is. But I think if you're going to actually be winding it in, the Gypsy's probably a better jig for that.
That's funny. We sell both at Fisherman's Landing. The Buffalo was the more popular of the two for us as far as sale. Both of them did super, super well, but the Buffalo 320 in glow, that was like our number one, between the two.
Yeah, no question about it. But it was funny, like the Gypsy.
Yeah.
Justin just said.
Yeah, that's
like
cool.
It was like 5-1.
Wow.
5-1.
Wow. Check that out. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning.
All right. How about next up we talk to Rich. He's calling us from Bradley this morning. Hi, Rich. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Well, good morning, guys.
Rich.
I've got a couple of questions about the gold label. I had to switch to Premier for all of my finesse applications in the freshwater, and it really solved my problems with shock resistance, which was kind of a big deal with other fluorocarbon. And when I moved over to the saltwater side and I wanted to use 40-pound, my knot of choice was always the Palomar, but it got real challenging tying a Palomar with the fluorocarbon compared to mono. So I switched over to a San Diego Gem knot for that. And I'm wondering if the smaller diameter of the gold label will allow me to tie the Palomar, say, in the higher pound test because of the smaller diameter. And I'm also wondering about what the differences in shock strength will be. And then the third characteristic that I'm really wondering about is because it's a slightly smaller diameter, would I be able to maybe go up in pound test when I'm out on the ocean and pursuing big game?
Well,
so maybe you can give me some inside baseball on the new gold label there.
Yeah, I think I think you can tie the Palomar in it. It's a small line, but I'm a big fan of the San Diego Jam knot just because of the low friction of the knot. So if you're tying this, I think most people, and I'm not saying that Palomar is a bad knot. I've just never been a big fan of it myself. I think there's better knots out there, and I think the San Diego Jam knot's as good as it gets for saltwater fishing. On any size line you fish, that's the beautiful part about it. I still tie it on freshwater stuff. People are like, what are you tying freshwater? San Diego Jam knot. So as far as going up a size, yeah, you absolutely can go up a size. That's one of the advantages of having a smaller diameter line is that you can cheat up if you want to, so you get even a higher break strength. I always tell people that affects the way your bait swims. So when you go up, you might get more break strength and more abrasion resistant, but your bait's not going to swim as nice as it was on the smaller diameter line. So, and
how does it affect the shock resistance?
Shock resistance is one of those things it's funny. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but it gets back to the resin technology. So when we're building any saltwater product, so there'd be Blue Label, Premier, and Gold Label, like shock is a big deal because we're going from free spool into sometimes massive amounts of drag in a second. So that's one of the characteristics. We always look at shock strength, and then the other thing's knot strength. It's one of those things not talked about is that there's some pretty strong fluorocarbons out there, but they have terrible knot strength. There's some fluorocarbons where knot strength's like 50%. Wow. So you buy 20-pound test, and it's basically a 10-pound line. So we always, every product we got, bass fishermen are just as important as shock strength. because they're hook sets and they're using a lot of braid now too with leader, just like we are. So shock strength and knot strength are every single Seaguar product out there takes in consideration both of those. So
and when they develop the resins,
absolutely, it's like literally it has to meet those criteria first, but before we get into all the other cool stuff we like about it. So
and that's again an advantage of the double structure is like you're building knot strength into it. That's
knot strength into it, tensile strength into it, shock strength into it. Every single thing that we're talking about is a part of bringing that product to market.
Very good. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning.
Hey, with that said, it's time to find out what's going on the water. We got the man standing by, Dave Hansen. He's your saltwater guide. And today, that catch report sponsored by Gamakatsu Octopus 4X Strong Hooks. It's not just another squid hook. Nothing penetrates deeper and holds tighter. The offset beak point is acutely sharp and forged from the highest carbon steel available. Every captain has their own tricks for how to rig a squid, but there's no question on which hook to use. The Gamakatsu Octopus hooks. Get them at your favorite tackle store and check gamakatsu.com. They are simply the best. Let's talk to the man. Dave Hansen, your saltwater guide, is standing by with our fishdope.com report. What's up, Dave?
Hey, good morning, Pete, Rick. How you guys doing today?
Great,
Dave.
Good morning.
Great. Hey, we got some weather. It's kind of messed up out there on the water. So what I was thinking today as we would talk about, we got about 3 weeks, guys, is all we got, and then this season's going to break wide open again because everybody's going to go rockfish fishing on March 1st, and that's when it happens. That's when they get outside there and they find that yellowtail, they find that bluefin that never left. The only reason why they're not finding it is because of the weather and because you can't go rockfish fishing. As soon as everybody gets out there, they're going to relocate that fish. And if you don't have your gear ready, you don't have your fluorocarbon ready, you're going to get caught, and you're going to have to get into it later on in the season. So what I would suggest everybody does right now, get over to Fisherman's Landing Tackle, get over to one of your favorite tackle stores, get your reels tuned up, get your drags checked, get those spools of fluorocarbon, get all your stuff ready. You got 3 weeks, guys. That's all you got, and it's going to go wild again because the water temperature did not drop. It's still in the 60s. Even though we have all this weather barreling through here, every time it stops, you go back out, the water gets cleaned super quick, and it doesn't drop in temperature that much. Normally, this time of year, like Pete Grosbeck and I were talking the other day, you can throw the history books away. Nothing's even close to how it used to be. When this weather would come through, the water would drop down to the low 50s. It doesn't do that anymore. It stays warm. So all I can suggest is everybody get ready for what's about to happen on March 1st. It's going to be insane.
All right, we're ready, Dave.
It's the
and,
truth,
of course,
buddy.
fishdope.com, those guys, whether it's February 3rd or March 1st, fishdope.com is your source for all the information. $20 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code HOOKUPNOW, lowercase, no space, HOOKUPNOW. And, Dave, how do we find you?
Well, guys, check out my website at yoursaltwaterguide.com. I just put up the beginning of the new Rockfish series. We cover everything, how to get on the spots. I'm even at the end here on the 28th of February. I'm going to give you guys a handful of spots. I went into Rick's book, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and I got a bunch of spots that I'm going to give you that belong to Rick. So make sure you're tuned in. Get on my website. Check it all out. I work in conjunction with Fish Dope. It's all just a big machine to make sure that you guys catch more fish when you go fishing.
Very good,
Awesome,
Dave. Thanks a lot for all that. We appreciate it, and have a super Sunday, okay?
Yeah, there's a game on today, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's some game. I don't know.
Don't give them all my spots, Dave.
Just everything over 75,000.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye, guys.
Talk to you next
See ya.
week.
All right, well, let's jump back into the phones. They are packed up. Let's talk to Matt. He's calling us from La Mesa this morning. Matt, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Good morning, Matt.
Hey, no problem, guys. Hey, Dale.
Morning.
Great information. So the question begs, I fished a 7-day last October on the Royal Star with Larry Brown, and this is the first time I've been on a long-range trip where first, second, and third place were wrapped up before first light on the first day of fishing, and that was directly a result of the buffalo jigs that Larry and a few other people were fishing.
Yeah.
So it begs the question, what is the difference between the new buffalo jigs, which obviously catch the big bluefin, and a Shimano flatfall?
Well, I think everything's in any lure's design. I mean, everything's, whether the fish have seen enough flat falls that's different, I couldn't tell you that, but I definitely know if you hold the two jigs side by side, you're definitely going to see difference in the shoulders and the width and how that thing flutters and moves down through the water column. We only get to see a part of it. Like, we're only seeing it as it disappears out of sight, And it could be everything from sink rate. One sinks a little faster than the other. One maybe is a little slower than the other. Or maybe the fish just haven't seen that, when everybody else is fishing. So I always believe fishing different. But like I said, these type of jigs have been popular in other parts of the world for years. Like, I just got back from Hawaii, and it's like, that market's been fishing these style of jigs well before we have.
I just think it's another really good jig. I mean, you're not, you couldn't go down and say that a Salis 7X Lite is better than a Tatty 45 because of these reasons, because that's not the case, and vice versa, it's not the case. It's just another really good jig that fishes great and has good rigging and gets bit real well.
So it should be a part of your arsenal.
I agree, yeah. I don't think you could point to one and say, this is better than that one for these reasons. And, you couldn't say that, this 7X swims better than a 45 and it always gets bit. It's just not the same. It's just another really good tool to have in the arsenal.
Very good point. Matt, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning.
All right. How about next up, we talked to Norman calling us from San Diego this morning. Good morning, Norman. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Thanks for joining us, Norman.
Hey. Thanks for taking my call. Lots of good information about the different types of fluorocarbon. The question I have is for Dale, and there are these fly fishing tips, Grand Max that Seaguar puts out, and I'd just like to know how you think that those compare to the new Gold line, and that being that the Grand Max is supposed, I think it's designed as a real narrow diameter line, and where does the Grand Max stand in terms of abrasion resistance compared to the other fluorocarbons?
Well, to be completely honest, it's the same technology we've used to make Grand Max. So, obviously we've made it for the fly fishing market for years. Tiny diameters, and because of the tiny diameters, that harder finish works well. Even little trout have sharp teeth. So if they inhale a nymph, abrasion resistance just as important on, trout fishing as it is on saltwater fishing. So, I would say similar technology, as the Grand Max, if that answers your question. It's dual structure, probably closer to that, if you're familiar with that, than like Premier Blue Label. Like I said, it's kind of this, I call it a super baby. It's like if you could breed Blue Label with Fluor Premier and come out with this super baby, that's what this Gold Label is. It's just this really, it's got everything that we all like about, Seaguar into one product. Like for me, that answers it. Small diameter, hard finish.
So awesome.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, I can't wait to use it for sure. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. Now, let's talk about using all the different Seaguar fluorocarbons and the Fred Hall deals. We can't reveal full deals, but he revealed to us what's going to happen. It's pretty sensational.
Dude.
Yeah, like I would tell everybody. So, for the most part.
So this is for Fred Hall, Long Beach.
Fred Hall, Long Beach. So
you guys will have a booth.
Yeah, we have a booth. We have 20-foot booth. So we set our booth up as 10 foot of it's kind of the information, come in, learn about the product, and then we direct you to the retailer or retailers that have the product there at the show that if you're looking to purchase.
Fisherman's Landing Tackle, Turner's Outdoors.
Yeah, exactly. And we try to be all fair. Like everybody says, well, how do you recommend? I make sure that we do it, we do it A through Z, so it's alphabetical, so we inform our staff of who's participating in the different programs.
And everybody has the same deal.
So everybody's deal is they buy it from a retailer such as Turner's or Fisherman's Landing, and then they'd come back to the Seaguar booth and they'd get their free goods. So I can't reveal what the ratio is, but I tell everybody, if you need fluorocarbon, you want to experience, maybe there'll be something on Gold Label, wink, wink. If you want to try Gold Label, it's probably your best opportunity to come to the show. I think all the retailers are supporting Gold Label at the show, and they'll be there for sale, including, I know Fisherman's Landing, Turner's for sure. So you'd buy that product and come back, and we'd be giving you some, quote, free additional product. And we have it on several different products, so it's not going to be just on the Gold Label. So.
Awesome, buddy.
Wow.
Huge.
And then we have another 10-foot part of the booth, which I'm usually in, and I'm usually answering technical questions on rigging. Because, there's still that question on, the thread lock and the loops and the splicing. But I will tell you, one of the greatest things, and, heard about it from you guys, so I want to make sure that, that your listeners, the John Collins knot is the real deal.
Yes,
like not
totally.
like I'm telling you right now, that of all the things we keep talking about the advantages of hollow core and being able to splice and all that other stuff. And I'm telling you right now that John Collins knot is a game changer for anybody.
No question.
Anybody. And I watched a novice angler last year on my long trip tie 100-pound leader straight to 100-pound braid using the John Collins knot that he never, like, and he looked at me and goes, is this right? You know, I'm like, yeah, okay. But I didn't know if I had the confidence to fish on that great a fish. And he got a 255.
Wow.
That's awesome.
255. Wow. I'm like, you know, I have a little, like, I've always had confidence in, like, we've always talked, like, 80-pound and below, right? I saw it on a big fish, on a guy that just learned to tie that knot.
My scenario, my story is exactly the same. Not a novice guy. It was Brandon from our tackle store, who is a very proficient fisherman, but I watched him grab a piece of 100-pound blue label. He was fishing 130. Wanted to switch to 100-pound, ripped off 6 feet, 8 feet of 100-pound blue label, tied a John Collins knot in 20 seconds, tied a hook on the end of it, pinned a bait on, cast over the side, and got a 260. And it was one of the meanest fish. You know, every crew member pulling on it,
Pretty
him pulling
amazing.
on it, rail rodding the heck out of it, and it just that 6 feet of blue label could last under that type of pressure, tied with a 6-turn or 5-turn John Collins knot, just blows me away. That knot is. It's killer.
Yeah, no, so it starts to make me think, once again, so when you're doing, hollow core splices and you're inserting X number of feet into the braid, that's still more drag on your bait. Whereas you take a John Collins knot that's like a 1/4 inch, you're like, so.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna play with that on my, quote 80/100.
Maybe you'll get a 300 on it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't want to catch it on 100 pound.
Okay, so all of these knots that we're talking about, the John Collins knot, shown by John Collins, then he did the Springer knot just recently, and the Tony Pena knot. It's all on our website, letstalkhookup.com, on our YouTube channel. If you link it through our website, letstalkhookup.com, on the upper right corner, you just click on that red YouTube link. You can do that. Or the easiest thing to do is just go to our app.
Yep.
If you haven't downloaded our app, you got to do it. I mean, we have thousands and thousands of downloads on our app, and all you need to do is go to our app. That YouTube link is right there. It takes you to all the demos. And I got to be honest with you. Every time I go fishing, I want to refresh my memory. If I'm a little rusty or something, I just go watch that video. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's right.
And how cool that you can watch the John Collins knot tied by John Collins.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
The Springer knot tied by John Collins.
Yeah.
And the Tony Pena knot tied by John Collins.
He's the man.
He's the knot master.
Yeah, and I learned how to do the whole Sato crimp system off of your guys' YouTube channel with Gary Sato. Right?
Gary Sato.
Like literally, I learned it from your video.
Yeah,
and that's Gary himself.
And that's another one on our YouTube channel is Gary Sato demonstrating the Sato crimp kit.
Yeah.
Which is a must-have piece.
Absolutely.
For your long-range trip.
Yep, no doubt.
All right, very good.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. The phone lines are absolutely packed. Everybody wants to talk to Dale. We got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the mighty 1090.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels. With the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities, Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWormerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
This is Pete Gray to tell you about one of my favorite places to fish in the world. It's Whalers Cove Lodge in Angoon, Alaska. For several years now, we've been hosting groups at Whalers Cove, and this is certainly one trip I do not miss. Each year, the Powers family makes great improvements to the lodge that make this great lodge even better. New rooms, new boats, new fish processing facilities, new outdoor kitchen. The list goes on and on. As for fishing, the calm waters around Whalers Whalers Cove are 100 miles from any large town, so you will enjoy wilderness adventure without the crowds. Whalers Cove Lodge has some of the best salt and freshwater fishing in Alaska, and there's no need for a bumpy boat ride for hours. You can find productive fishing for salmon, halibut, and rockfish just 10 minutes from the lodge. Here's the deal. The word is out on Whalers Cove, so you want to go? Book soon. WhalersCoveLodge.com or call 800-423-3123. WhalersCoveLodge.com for the Alaska fishing experience of a lifetime.
Fifth Avenue Insurance has a new name. It's Snap Insurance, still providing anglers and boaters with the best in boat insurance and the lowest rates. The experts at Snap Insurance will make sure your boat and property are covered right. Traveling to Mexico? Snap has you covered. You can even work with your agent to wrap your home and auto with your boat policy to save even more. Call them for advice on your current boat policy or any of your insurance needs. Snap Insurance, 800-527-6617 or snapins.com. That's SNAPPINS.com.
All of us at the American Angler family want to express appreciation to our regular passengers that fish with us year after year and to the new anglers that came out this last season. We realize how precious your vacation time is, and we are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us. It's important that your experience is memorable, from the moment you call the office to the time you step off the boat. Hi, I'm Lori. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. Come fishing with the American Angler family and make a memory.
38 years ago, my parents started Fastlane Sailing Center. They sold catamarans because they wanted to do what they loved and sell what they loved to do. They wanted to share their passion with others, share the stoke. I'm Hayden Lane, and over the last 3 decades, my parents have shared that passion with thousands of people, my brother, sister, and I among them. We grew up right there at the shop in Dana Landing Marina in Mission Bay, sailing on the bay, fishing off the docks, and later off the Hobie Mirage kayaks. We grew up surrounded by the water. Our shop was filled with tools that Hobie and other brands have made to enjoy on the water. And I use them all. I mean all of them. Wouldn't you? So when you come into the shop, you're not going to hear a salesperson trying to convince you to buy something. You're going to hear us bragging about how much fun we have on these toys and telling you to do the same. We test every product out there, and we only sell the best because we want to use the best. So check out our website at FastlaneKayaking.com or get on down to the shop in Dana Landing and find your next adventure.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
San Diego's sports leader. The home of ESPN Radio. The mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
All right, on the line right now is the guru of San Diego Bay lobster fishing, Bobby Arms. Good morning, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, guys, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. So you have a big lobster tournament coming up this Saturday, right?
Yes, sir. This coming Saturday, we're going to be out there at the launch ramp at Shelter Island Launch Ramp that is newly opened, as we all know, as you were there for the ribbon cutting ceremony, Pete.
Absolutely.
And looks like we got a new beautiful launch ramp there now finally, and we're going to take advantage of it. You know, we're going to have this nice tournament, which we've done before. You know, this is, I think, the 7th one now that we've done, and so we've pretty much got everything in place. You know, and our where we will be weighing in will be at the OBC Outboard Boating Club there,
nice.
Right there at the launch ramp, and it makes for a comfortable, nice venue for doing this sort of thing.
Wow. So how does one get into the lobster tournament, and what are the rules and all that kind of stuff?
Okay, well, there's a $30 entry fee per person. We don't care how many people want to get on a boat, you know, and go out there and bring them in. And then we have the first, second, third place prizes. The seven heaviest lobsters will bring in the first place prize, and the second place will be the second heaviest lobsters, and the third place will be a single lobster that will be the biggest.
Okay.
And
so 7 being the limit for lobsters. So if you're
correct.
lucky enough to get a limit, whatever the heaviest limit is first, second, and third place.
Correct. Yes. And lucky, I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. I don't think we've had a tournament where they didn't come in with limits. Just about everybody. And we go by we pick our dates based on the tide changes. The currents. And we don't want to be chasing our nets. We want to be catching lobsters. And so the current's going to be in our favor this coming Saturday. So for the whole time, you can drop your nets just about any time you want during the day. To get a head start. But what's real important is that weigh-in. You have to be in by 9:30 in the basin, not outside, but inside the basin by 9:30 sharp. And then we got John Hopalong Cassidy from the Rod and Reel Radio that's going to be my weigh master once again to make sure everything weighs out, appropriately and honestly and evenly. So
great.
That helps.
John's a good guy and a good supervisor there for sure. So, Bobby, again, if somebody wants to be a part of your lobster tournament, San Diego Bay, sponsored by the Outboard Motor Club, right there?
Outboard Boating Club, yes.
Club,
and it is open to the public, to all your listeners and anybody else. The women out there can bring their husbands if they want to. Always get them involved. People laugh and say, the wives don't ever get in. Well, yes, that's not true. We've had a few wives that drug their husbands off the couch and said, let's go out there and get into this tournament, and they've done well. So, it's for everybody.
So how does one enter? Do they contact you ahead of time or just show up?
Just show up. We'll be prepared for anybody and everybody.
So you can just sign up before you leave the dock. You sign up right there at the Outboard Boating Club?
Correct. You come up there to the club. I'll be sitting there. I'll be there around 2 o'clock waiting to hand out raffle tickets to those who, you get a free ticket, a raffle ticket for those who are joining the contest. And then you can, anytime you want to, I'd say the sooner you drop the better so you can get your gear out of the way and then come back in and have a bite to eat and talk and whatever you want to do. But, you bring your $30 for each person and you pay that. And I start around 2:30 taking the money. And then you're on your own. You can, hang around and, and have a bite to eat and socialize and do what you want to do. I would advise being in the water long before dark anyway. You guys know how that goes. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very, yeah, awesome, Bobby. Well, and I'll bet Bobby will share some of his secret tips, too, while you're there.
Yeah, the big tip is to go out there in that Shelter Island and use the whole place, the whole San Diego Bay. Shelter Island's a nice place to that harbors all these nice lobsters. I've found that out over the years. I like fishing in other spots too, hooping in other locations in San Diego, but I find San Diego Bay to be the most lucrative for me anyway.
So, throughout the bay, there's not just one spot, there's lots of spots, right?
Lots of spots. There's some good spots, both shallow and deep, and that's for you to find out there when you get out there. But like I said, I don't think we've ever had anybody come in and get skunked, and we've been out there. Another thing, this weather the way it is pretty turbulent, and it's supposed to be, it looks like it's going to be a nice day on next Saturday, but with this weather like it is and all, it really churns up the water and gets the lobsters moving, you probably know that, Pete.
All that fresh water in the bay and stuff. Oh yeah, big time. Well, Bobby Arms, a lobster tournament this Saturday at the Outboard Boating Club right there in Shelter Island Launch Ramp. Bobby will be there too. Thanks, Bobby, for the info. Good luck with the tournament. Appreciate the call this morning. All right, let's find out what's cooking out there. Our buddy Yanni from Fisherman's Belly's on the line. Good morning, Yanni.
Hey, Yanni.
Good morning, gentlemen. What a great show. Good morning to all the fishermen out there and to all my buddies who are secretly out there catching big halibut right now. I'm telling you, I used to fish Dana Point all the time, and this time of year is just a great time of year for halibut. And right now, up and down the coast, I've got friends catching big ones. So I put together a halibut soup that is going to be a brand new Mexican comfort food classic because it's a halibut soup combined with a classic Mexican tortilla soup. It's absolutely out of this world. I'm telling you, we had it last night and we couldn't stop eating it. What's really great about this soup is it's a one-pot soup, so it's so easy a fisherman can make this soup. And it's brand new on my website, and it's out this morning.
That sounds awesome,
man. That sounds so good. You can get it right now at fishermansbelly.com, or we'll have it up on our Angler's Table page of our Let's Talk Hookup website, letstalkhookup.com, very, very soon. And I got to share something with you. Yanni, my brother-in-law, John, cooked up down in Zihuatanejo, where I was last week. First night we were down there, he had your crispy tuna tacos with a little twist. We used shrimp and huachinango, or red snapper.
Man.
And, oh, boy, were those good.
Oh my God, that's great. You know what I really love is I love the fact that you guys are swapping out ingredients. That's ultimately my goal. I really want to turn people into good fishermen and good cooks.
But yeah, really fantastic and worked very, very, very well. And one of the keys is you can't forget to bring the toothpicks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's difficult without the toothpicks on those.
Yeah. If you read that recipe, check it out. Hey, Yanni, fishermansbelly.com. Thanks a lot for that, and we'll talk to you next week.
You bet.
Or in
you
a couple
guys
weeks. Yeah.
See you, John.
For sure. In a couple of weeks. All right. Take care, guys.
See you, Yanni. All right. Hey, let's jump back into the phones. Talk to John, who's calling us from Mira Mesa this morning. Good morning, John. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, all. It's been off. Good morning. Good start of the morning for me. While I was on hold, I stopped into Fisherman's Processing, and Sean hooked me up with one of those Super Bowl platters, and I just hope I can hold off until the game before I dig into it. You know?
Okay. So he's open this morning, and has those Fisherman's Processing Super Bowl platters available for how much did you say?
$35. Pound of smoked fish, 2 things of cheese, and a bag of the fish jerky, the tuna jerky. Just what a boy! Which ones did you pick, John?
He let me get half and half of the fish, half yellowfin and half wahoo.
Oh man,
and,
awesome!
Some pepper jack, and yeah, I'm looking forward.
Cool.
Looking forward to it. Yeah,
that's quite the deal.
Okay, so my question, I think Dale, you've talked about this over the years, but just remind me again anyway. What is the shelf life, or does it vary on all your different products? And if you've had some floral that's been sitting around for a couple of years or whatever, do you recommend like pre-stretching it, pulling it before you cut a piece off and use it?
Well, it's kind of a catch-22 deal, is that fluorocarbon doesn't break down at the same rate that nylon does or monofilament. So the shelf life, the shelf life's a long time. We have a standard kind of deal at Seaguar is like 5 years. So my feeling is if you've had it for 5 years, that means you're not fishing enough. So you need to get out and use it. So I try to, you can imagine being the sales rep, and I try to keep my stuff fresh and rotate it, and I kind of got a way of marking it to see what year I put it in the box, and as far as pre-stretching it, not necessarily. The only thing I ever see with old fluorocarbon, and I've seen stuff that's like 10, 15 years old, it starts to get a little yellow. It starts to get not quite as clear. One of the things that we do for the U.S. market that they don't necessarily do in Japan is the natural kind of color of fluorocarbon is kind of a tea color. It's kind of a little bit off. You've probably seen it before in like Tatsu, when we first brought Tatsu to market. It was a little tea colored.
Little tinge of yellow.
Yeah, and it's like, and so it had nothing to do with performance. It was 100% as good as you can possibly make it. But we actually kind of clarified and make it clear for the U.S. market. It's kind of U.S. consumers seem to like it crystal clear as opposed to being a little bit opaque yellow. So we call it tea color. As far as performance goes, there's no performance. But as it gets older, it reverts back to that original kind of tea color. So,
but it's still good.
It's still great. It's still a great product, but.
And the shelf life is basically.
Yeah, but I tell people, store it indoors. Don't store it in a hot environment if you're going to do that, and then and try to rotate it. I mean, I make it a point to try to always have fresh stuff. I think it's just the nature of being an angler.
But where mono goes bad, within a season or so, Seaguar fluorocarbon just doesn't.
Doesn't have a shelf life.
A long time.
Yeah, and I just tell people, we tell people the stat answer is 5 years.
5 years.
It's good beyond that. So I tell everybody, just fish more.
There you go. All right. Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
All right. How about this time we talked to Dan? He's calling us from Encinitas this morning. Good morning, Dan. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Thanks for taking my call. I just got a couple questions, and then I'll get off and go get my platter.
Right.
Let's see. The first one is for Dale and Rick. You talked about this earlier about the connections, but mine's not with fluorocarbon. Mine's not with hollow. I've got standard 65 Power Pro.
Sure.
And with your gold, what do I have to work with there as far as the knot clenching? You go like 25, 30.
Well, I would definitely say that you can take that 65, solid, or assume it's a solid core, to 25, 30 using the John Collins knot, no problem.
Yep.
Day in, day out, that's not a problem. So yeah, just the John Collins knot will attach it to any of that size gold label.
It's going to cinch down even smaller, being that nice light line size. I mean, you'll be amazed when you get that thing cinched up right. It's barely larger than the diameter of the line you're tying it to. You'll be stoked. I'm with Dale 100%. John Collins knot's the way to go.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and jump back on the phones, Rick.
Rick in Temecula is up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, Rick.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm fairly new to using fluorocarbon. I'll typically use a mono top shot, and I'm kind of just wondering how is there a gauge for, let's say I did a 25-pound mono top shot, what I would be able to go up to a fluorocarbon size?
Well, I always think
is there a rule of thumb?
Yeah, I think that the diminishing rule for me is if you're attaching. I'll go back to the mono days when before we were using braid on everything. Similar size. I think you're at a disadvantage going up because you're basically tying a larger diameter. Your bait's not going to swim as good. So if you're fishing 25-pound mono, I'd be fishing like that 25, 30-pound fluorocarbon to it. It's more about the diameters, and so I think going up hurts you just because your bait's not going to swim as good. And that's one of the reasons that I'm a big proponent of, almost all braid and then a short top shot, is because that braid's so small, when you attach it to any size fluorocarbon, it's usually smaller than the fluorocarbon, and the bait swims so good because the bait's not having to drag that larger diameter mono through the water.
It's a good call.
Yeah,
hey,
great.
Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
All right, jumping right back in. Roger calling from Fullerton this morning. Hi, Roger. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's everyone doing?
What's up, Roger?
Has your knot choice at the hook, has that changed, and what is your knot that you use now?
Well, with
fluorocarbon.
I use this. I recommend for most people the San Diego Jam knot. I have played, and this was only on the recommendation of Tanaka, that when I started fishing the long trips and you're tying big line, it's just a big knot. And so he showed me the improved Miller knot, which is a tiny knot, and it's super strong. And so honestly, I tie that on my big stuff when I'm fishing the long trips.
The improved Miller.
Yeah, improved Miller. It's
interesting.
It's a tricky little knot. It's not an easy knot, and it's even harder to tie in lighter stuff. Like I played with it with the gold label at Guadalupe. I was trying to go as stealth as possible. It's just a little trickier knot than most people. You can cross those two going through when you do the twist, and if it's not done right, it's going to pop. So. And
the other knot that John Collins had recommended that's a good knot is that Tony Pena knot.
Yeah, the Tony Pena knot's a great knot. So
it's on our YouTube channel too.
And one of the
that's a little easier to
tie than the Miller. One of the things
that's a line to line knot.
Line to line.
Yeah.
Not the Miller knot.
Yeah.
You were thinking of maybe the Springer.
Okay. The
Springer is the hook knot.
Right.
Tony Pena is just another line to line knot.
All right. So
my deal is confidence in knots. Period. End of story. Like I try not to talk people out of knots if they're confident in it and they tie it well and they cinch it well and they lubricate it well. But there's definitely some knots that are like the question always comes up. Well, what about the double uni? And I'm like, well, I could tie the RP knot / John Collins knot in a heartbeat, and I've never had a failure. And I'm not saying that the opposing uni knots aren't good knots. I just think it's not as easy to tie for most people. And I always tried.
So which is easier, a Miller knot or the back-to-back uni?
Back-to-back unis, again, that's a line to line.
Okay.
Miller's like a hook knot.
It's a hook knot.
Yeah. The Miller knot would be like in place of a Springer, and the Springer is definitely a lot easier to tie than the Miller knot would be.
But what about compared to a trilene knot?
I still think a trilene is easier to tie than the Miller knot.
Yeah. No, I tell you that it was just one of those things that I challenged myself. Like if you don't tie it all the time, you forget. It's almost like a little magic trick when you see it tied, you're like, okay, slow that down again.
I'm having the same problem that I had. Well, I just need to do it. Like I'm with you, Pete. I learned to tie my heavy fluorocarbon. I like to tie the trilene knot. I learned it. I go to do my long trips on the Royal Star. That's where those guys taught me how to tie it years ago. So that's what I tie. And it's not super difficult, but it's a little tricky. You gotta cinch the line just right and things like that. But it makes a really small knot when you're fishing 100-pound, 130-pound, 150-pound even fluorocarbon. You can tie it in. The Springer knot is so easy that I've got this wrapped in my head. Like, oh, it can't be as good because it's just too easy to tie. But it is. It's a great knot to tie. I just need to go on a trip and do nothing but use that one. But I'm just like Dale said. I'm in that school. I'm in the not broke, don't fix it rule. I know when I tie a 5-turn trilene with 130-pound blue label and I hook hopefully a 200-pounder, I know that's not going to be what fails. That's what I've done, and so that's why I keep doing it.
And I think the trick, especially with this class of fish we have off our coast now, you don't have to go on a long trip to see ridiculous fish, but I think the biggest mistake people make is they don't have those connections. They're not confident in all that connections. They don't pull as hard. Like, if you are confident in your connections, like your trilene knot, right, or your crimps with the Sato crimp, or the John Collins knot, you don't think about any of that when you're pulling on fish. You pull as hard as you possibly can. You're not even thinking, I hope my knots fail. If you're thinking that, you better rethink your knots.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good call.
Seaguar knot. We were talking about mono to fluorocarbon, back-to-back to uni, whatever.
Yeah.
How's the Seaguar knot?
Seaguar knot's that is still a mainstay because there's still a good chunk of anglers.
Easy too.
It's easy. It's not the prettiest knot, but man, it holds and it's easy. So, I know Seaguar's got it on their website.
Yeah, you can go to the Seaguar website. What is the Seaguar website?
Seaguar.com. S-E-A-G-U-A-R.
And you just look for the Seaguar
I think we have,
knot.
when not I guarantee same bill. You can go to YouTube and,
but that's amazing.
We should probably get that done on your website.
Yeah.
We should probably do that. Put that on the YouTube.
Dale from Seaguar should be tying a Seaguar knot.
Yeah, we got John Collins.
Heck yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's do it.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky guy's got himself a killer prize pack again. Gold label Seaguar, DTX Minnow, 320-gram buffalo jig. That prize pack's going to one lucky caller when we return. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
This is Brandon Hayward with Bite Sport Fishing, here to talk about Parker Boats and the crew at West Coast Marine. In the spring of 2013, I bought my first Parker. When it came time to rebrand from one-man charters to Bite Sport Fishing and add to my fleet and start running out of Davies Locker in Newport Beach and Fisherman's Landing this summer season, I chose a Parker. When clients ask why I chose Parker, I always say, I could have had any boat, but my 2320 is perfect for my white sea bass, offshore, and lobster program. Almost 6,000 hours on my 2320 Pilot House over the past 6 seasons has shown me that Parker is the ultimate West Coast charter boat. It's what customers expect. These stout workhorses offer everything anglers need, as in a stable platform with huge deck space for our West Coast style of live bait fishing. Parker's a big reason why I run more charters than any other small boat operation in Southern California. I like my 2320 so much that I bought another one. And while you never know what's going to happen with fishing, I know it won't be my last Parker I buy from West Coast Marine. If fishing isn't something you do but who you are, then Parker's for you, be it a one-day charter or a lifetime of ownership. If you're ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to go see Kevin Kelly at West Coast Marine. Check out their inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com.
When it comes to Southern California sport fishing, two names stand out: Fisherman's Landing Tackle and Shimano. Hi, this is Doug Kern. We have the most complete selection of Shimano saltwater rods and reels, like Talica, Trinidad, and Tranks reels, plus Terramar and Therese rods. Our professional saltwater experts at Fisherman's Landing Tackle have the know-how to help you choose the right Shimano rod and reel for your next trip. When it comes to Shimano gear, you owe it to yourself to visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego or on the web at saltwatertackle.com.
Yamaha Outboard's Say Yes to Reliability sales event is here. For a limited time, purchase an eligible new 2.5 to 115 horsepower four-stroke and get 5 years of warranty protection plus up to $500 in dealer credit. New 150 to 300 horsepower four-strokes get 6 years of warranty protection. Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Offer ends March 31st, 2019, subject to change at any time. Other restrictions and conditions apply. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealers for details. This promotion cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
Fisherman's Landing is the top choice in local and long-range fishing. Hi, this is Doug Kern. Our hardworking crew is always looking for ways to improve your fishing experience. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. We are proud to say Fisherman's Landing is now a full-service sport fishing operation, offering half-day trips on the Dolphin, and now, for the first time in the long history of Fisherman's Landing, we have 3/4-day open party trips on the Liberty. We built the Liberty specifically to offer a better experience. Run by veteran captain Taro Takeuchi, the 85-foot Liberty is the first open party 3/4-day boat to offer bunks for your comfort. She also has huge bait capacity and RSW fish holds to keep your catch fresh. Plus, Liberty has a big galley and 2 interior heads with showers. Our open party trips from half-day, 3/4 day, or 1 to 3 day trips can be easily booked online online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call at 619-221-8500. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. All right, the winner of that amazing tackle package from, again, thanks to Seaguar and to Nomad, all the great stuff, and really big thanks to Dale. That's going to Rick in Temecula. Rick, congratulations. You are going to be stoked with all your new prizes.
Yeah, you are. And Dale Hightower, once again, watch out, Fred Hall, showtime for Seaguar fluorocarbon deals.
It is the time to stock up on fluorocarbon.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, of course, time to stock up on Nomad.
Yeah,
Nomad will be on sale, no doubt.
Yeah, and
no Fisherman's Landing tackle will have them on sale, right? Yeah.
No, it'll be an exciting show. And, by the way, I wanted to say that I'm fishing with your Let's Talk Hookup group at Katmai Lodge.
Sweet, that's right.
Katmai Lodge. I'm taking my son and daughter up there and fishing with you guys.
In July.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very excited. I'm not about as excited about that as I am my 16 leaving on Friday.
Yeah, I bet that. But when Katmai comes, you'll be excited.
No, I'm more excited for that.
Yeah.
No,
You've
seriously.
been, you know.
Yeah, I want my kids to experience how great that fishing is. So.
It is.
Most amazing place.
Cool. Well, keep up the great work. Thank you for all the support of Let's Talk Hookup from both Nomad and Seaguar and Dale Hightower and the H&H group. You guys are just so awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. This is one of the highlights of the year, coming down and doing this in-studio stuff with you guys.
Well, good luck on your trip.
All right.
All right. Well, and hopefully Andy Cates will call us in and tell us about your 300 pounds.
I hope that's the case.
You catch your big one, you make sure Andy
I will.
calls.
I will
okay?
absolutely call you guys.
All right. Very good. All right. Thanks again for listening this weekend. We'll be back next Saturday and Sunday. Next Saturday, Kevin Kelly from West Coast Marine. The Parker Boat Dealers will be in the Mighty 1090 studio with Rick and myself. And then next Sunday, Ali from Fish Dope and Local Knowledge will be here with Corey and myself next Sunday, because Ricky will be at El Salto.
Yeah,
so
buddy.
Thanks for listening today. Thanks to Adam on the other side of the glass for all he does. And be sure to check out our app and our website for everything Let's Talk Hookup. And thanks for listening. See you next week right back here on the Mighty 1090.